let's start with collusion. That's a talking points memo this evening. As you probably have heard, Attorney General Pam Bondi says she will present evidence on the Russian collusion fraud conspiracy to a federal grand jury. This coming off a report by National Intelligence Director Tulsi Gabbard saying that CIA Director John Brennan, FBI Director James Comey, Hillary Clinton, and others conjured up a conspiracy to derail Donald Trump's presidential campaign, and then after he was elected, to harm him in office. That is the case. Okay? So Bondi and Gabbard, and apparently President Trump, who calls all the shots, believe they have enough evidence to prove it. Okay. So now it goes in a federal grand jury. Now, grand jury is just like you and me, regular folks. There's more of them than in a sitting trial. And they have to select the venue, and that's going to be a problem for the Trump administration. Because all of this alleged conspiracy fraud took place in and around Washington, D.C. and New York City. Remember, Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign headquarters was in Brooklyn. It's going to be tough to get it out of there. I mean, you might be able to get it into Virginia because that's where the CIA is, Langley. But boy, you're not going to be able to get it to Florida, Texas, or a red state. So Bondi's going to have to go into very, very liberal precincts and present her case in front of a federal grand jury. Now, they are more disciplined than local juries, state juries, no question. But that is a hurdle. Okay, now in the spotlight is, as I mentioned, former CIA Director Brennan. It looks like there is strong evidence against him. Former FBI Director James Comey, that hinges on whether Comey knew or was told that the information gleaned about Putin and Russia trying to interfere in the election was phony, because Comey presented the evidence to federal judges to get a FISA wiretap on the Trump campaign. Now, Comey, of course, is going to say, no, I didn't know. Brennan's going to say, I didn't know. But in Brennan's case, there is a lying to the FBI charge coming. And they have, from what I understand, proof of that. But everybody's entitled to due process. Clapper is the director of national intelligence. That's murky on Clapper. I don't know yet. And then there's the big kahuna, to use a surfing expression, Hillary Clinton, whose campaign started all this by hiring people to gin up a phony scenario that Putin and Russia were trying to help Donald Trump become president. Now, Hillary Clinton, that's a interesting study there, because I obviously has the biggest name. And she's going to say, I didn't know anything about it. These were all done by campaign workers, and I had nothing to do with it. So the Justice Department, the Trump Justice Department, has to produce evidence to override the denial. We all understand this is no slam dunk case here. It's a complicated case. Okay? Now, Donald Trump wants to punish all of those people. There's no question that he does. All of them. He punishes by an indictment. So even if they are acquitted, you know, Brennan and Comey and Hillary and Clapper, whoever else gets indicted, has to pay millions of dollars to attorneys to defend them. And there's no, maybe Hillary's got money left over from her presidential campaign, because you can use that, or she could use it legally, but the others don't. They're going to have to pony up millions of dollars in legal fees. And that's a revenge play. Now, President Obama's out of the equation. We explained this many times. Just go over it real quickly. There was a movement to indict President Trump for inciting the January 6th riot in D.C. at the Capitol building. Supreme Court threw that out, said, look, Donald Trump was president at the time. He had the right to do anything he wanted to do as far as policy is concerned. And that was it. And Obama can fall back absolutely on that. So if it's proven that Obama saw evidence that there was fraud in this Russian collusion thing, and then ordered another assessment, which is what is going around now, Obama said, look, it's part of my job. I wanted to triple check it. And nobody believes, nobody serious person believes that President Obama is going to be indicted here unless whistleblowers emerge. And that's what Bondi is counting on. The Attorney General is counting on people coming out to testify against Hillary, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, and perhaps Obama. That changes the equation. Okay? If these people rise up and say, oh, I told this person, oh, this person did this, and can prove it, the case changes. Okay? So do you have it? Does everybody have it? That's where we are on payback for Russian collusion. All right. Now, just today. No, let me run a soundbite. And then I'll get to Epstein in today. So last night I was on NewsNation. I'm on there every Monday at 9 and then on Wednesday, 8:15. So Leland Vittert and I talked about this Russian collusion. Go.
Is this grand jury is trying to go back and relitigate this? Is potentially putting Obama-era people in jail a good thing for the country?
Yeah. If these people tried to derail an election, tried to hurt a sitting president by bogus, phony, false conspiracies, because that's what
Isn't
it was.
that called politics?
Using them to get... Okay, Leland, is it called politics? Get a phony FISA warrant to spy on you and your family? Did you call that politics? I don't think so. That's a crime. Okay. I'm right. You just don't let this go. But there is a personal vendetta on the part of Donald Trump, believe me. Okay? Not just about them, but in New York City and a whole bunch of other places. All right, now let's get to Epstein. So this is really interesting. The left, the Democratic Party, have been torturing Donald Trump about his alleged association with Epstein, the most heinous man probably we've seen in years. All right, he's dead. He committed suicide. I'm sure he's having a fun time now down below. So Jeffrey Epstein knew Donald Trump. Okay, all of those people knew each other in New York City, and that's that. But it's not a crime to know Jeffrey Epstein. But the Democratic Party and the Trump haters are insinuating heavily that Trump was involved in some kind of criminality with Epstein. You all know that. That's what this is all about. So enter Congressman James Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee, who is very loyal to Donald Trump. Okay? And he says, you know what? We're gonna subpoena the following people to talk about Epstein in front of our committee. Ready? Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Robert Mueller, the special counsel, James Comey, Bill Barr, Attorney General under Trump, first term. Okay? Loretta Lynch, former Attorney General under Obama. Eric Holder, Obama's former Attorney General. Merrick Garland, Biden's former Attorney General. On and on and on and on. So Comer's saying, you want to play? We'll play. You guys got to come in under oath and do a deposition with my investigators about Epstein. What you knew, what happened, and all that. This is brilliant. It's brilliant. They turns it right around. You want to torture Trump for a month? Okay. Now we're going to torture you. And believe me, anybody lies, whoa, that goes right to the Justice Department. Remember, Congress can't indict anybody. It has to go through the circles. And if anybody takes the fifth, can you imagine? Can you imagine? On an Epstein deposition? When I saw this, went, whoa. And I don't usually do that much. I usually can predict. I didn't predict this. I did not. Now, there's payback going on a lesser extent, and we do give everyone the presumption of innocence here on the No Spin News. You know that. Due process. We don't do what most of the others do, convict people on television, in the media. We do not do that. That is wrong, morally wrong to do. Other paybacks, Mar-a-Lago, Jack Smith, he's being investigated. Georgia voting fraud, a whole bunch of people down there being investigated. E. Jean Carroll, okay, the woman who said Trump jumped her in Bloomingdale's, all right? Bragg, believe me, is under investigation. The Attorney General, the district attorney in Manhattan, who brought the business charges, and then the federal election subversion case, okay? So there's a lot of stuff swirling around. Trump's not going to leave all. He's got 3.5 more years. He's like Michael Corleone. He's going to get them all, or try to. And that's the memo. Homeowners, when is the last time you checked on your home title? If your answer is never, then this is for you. Scammers are stealing titles, and your equity is a target. Criminals forge your signature. Just like that, your home title can be transferred out of your name. That's why I partnered up with Home Title Lock, so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Please use my promo code BILL at HometitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report. Plus, you will get a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts of any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code BILL. All right, so I have an interesting guest to tell you about. Breitbart, Alex Marlow. I read the book, and I got 1,000 books, literally, okay? Because I wanted to see what Marlow had. And here's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in right-wing politics. Breitbart is a conservative site. I knew Mr. Breitbart before he died. I liked him. But what I'm interested in is who paid for all the cases against Donald Trump, and Marlow is investigating that. Now, if you don't know him, he is, let me get your official title here, Alex, so I don't blow it. You are the editor-in-chief of Breitbart News, the host of the Alex Marlow podcast, and a 2-time New York Times bestselling author. Did I have it? Do I have everything? And you want to throw anything else in there on your resume, or do I have it?
No, and a 3-time guest on your show, Bill, which I appreciate. You have me on for both of my other books, Breaking Biden and Breaking the News. And there's an homage to you in that. I've titled my first 3 books in a similar theme to what you do with the Killing series. I was thinking about it. I think other than Stephen King, you're the author I've read the most over the years. So congrats to your longevity.
Oh,
and
there's
an homage
Evil
to Bill O'Reilly in the book title.
Thank you. Thank you. You're going to love Evil coming up September 9th. Now, let's start with E. Jean Carroll. And this is probably the least important, but the most outrageous
yes,
to me.
Agreed.
Because I don't know her, but I know who she is. And I know the people she surrounds herself with. And she won $5 million in damages, saying that Trump jumped her in Bergdorf Goodman. I mean, it's just inconceivable that would happen with no scream or nobody else around. I mean, come on. She still won Manhattan jury. And then she won when Trump said she's X, Y, and Z. She sued him for defamation, won there. Case is presently on appeal. Who gave E. Jean Carroll the money to go after Trump?
First of all, I love that you started with this case of the 6 that I profiled because it is the most outrageous. It does seem to be the least serious, but this is a woman who had cats named Tits and Vagina. She basically, her claims against Trump almost mirrored exactly a Law and Order plot from an episode that took place a year or two before this event allegedly took place. There are so many implausible moments in the case that I think when people read my retelling of it, they'll actually laugh at certain points. And yet, this was put up as a major example of sexual predatory behavior by Trump with virtually little, almost no hard evidence at all. The key point being that she had apparently saved this dress that may have had Trump's DNA on it, but then she wouldn't turn it over to authorities so no one could actually examine it. So, which I talked to Trump about this, and he said he loved that she had the dress because he could have exonerated him, so she kept it a secret. But to answer your question, this was bankrolled by Reid Hoffman, the LinkedIn billionaire, frequent Biden White House guest, a guy who has been involved in basically every major Democrat funding operation, period. And he is someone who is part of this revolving door of donors that is involved in so many of these nefarious plots by the left to try to buy portions of the American government. This was the idea of George Conway, the famed legal pundit and ex-husband of Kellyanne Conway. Who was a huge
let me stop you there.
It was Conway's idea, and Hoffman funded it.
All right, let me stop you there. Reid Hoffman, you said frequent White House guest under Obama and Biden. I don't even know. Did he visit Biden?
Yeah, 5 times in 2022 alone, and then there was another meeting that they had that same year.
So he's deeply embedded.
I stopped there. I thought I have what I need at that point.
He's deeply embedded. Now this E. Jean Carroll thing. Do you know if she got money directly from him? Was she paid by him?
I don't know if she was paid by him, but her attorneys, and she had the top attorneys possible, the absolute top Me Too attorneys, and this was framed as a Me Too case, that this was an example of Trump preying on a innocent woman and pinning her into a department store dressing room, even though there were no eyewitnesses to it, and apparently Carroll hadn't told anyone who would testify about it for decades. That was how it was framed. And they got the best lawyers in the game in order to be on her team. Those people are not cheap. And they're certainly not something that E. Jean Carroll, as a former comedy writer and columnist, could have afforded.
Okay. So it was a civil suit. You have to pay lawyers to file all the paperwork. And I'd say estimate $2-3 million. They might have worked pro bono for her and taken a piece, but you're saying that Hoffman paid them outright, but you don't know if he paid her, right?
Yeah, I don't know exactly where the funds were allocated specifically, but I'll tell you there was a clip of Carroll after she had gotten I think it was a $95 million judgment against Trump, where she was literally announcing she was going to be buying gifts for her attorneys, as well as sympathetic TV pundits.
It wasn't a serious case. Then we go into, and you believe, according to Breaking the Law, your book, that the Manhattan jury would have found Trump guilty of anything. And Trump didn't appear on his own behalf or anything, but the fix was in from the very beginning. That's what you believe, right?
Yeah, and Trump said he probably regrets his strategy, and that I spoke to him about this in an interview earlier this year, and he says that he did not like the way that his attorneys handled it. He had tough words for a guy named Tacopina, who's one of his attorneys. But he also said that it was hopeless, that once the judge and jury were impaneled, it was over for him, and that's part of the problem with the lawfare.
Okay. What is Project 65?
Yeah, Project 65 are attorneys who is a well-funded left-wing effort to target attorneys who work for Trump. And it's essentially legal world cancel culture. It's trying to make it that if you represent Trump or someone who's affiliated with Trump, that you are no longer able to work in polite society again.
Wow.
And you
That's
are
pretty nasty.
classed out. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Who's Herb Sandler?
Herb Sandler is a guy who is behind ProPublica. Now, ProPublica is a left-wing activist journalism outlet, and they actually get some stuff right. I know this because I practice some advocacy journalism, Bill, which I'm happy to admit from time to time. It doesn't make you inaccurate if you have an agenda when you're reporting certain things. But he's funded this group that has really tried to take either small kernels of news or outright fake news and use it to weaponize against conservative judges and justices. In particular, he's targeted Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito, the two originalist standard bearers on the Supreme Court. And the ProPublica outlet has tried to make their lives a living hell simply because they're originalists. And they've implied this guilt by association stuff that because they have a couple of rich friends, that they must be taking bribes from them to decide court cases in certain ways. And there's no evidence of that at all. It's all speculation, and it's designed to harass them. And this comes from the ProPublica outlet, which is backed by mainly Herb Sandler and the Sandler Foundation, but also George Soros and Laurene Powell Jobs, who owns The Atlantic, and another murderer's row of Democrat philanthropists.
Now, Soros is in his mid-90s. His son, Alex, is running this operation, Open Society or whatever it is.
Yes.
But how active in your book was Soros in trying to harm Donald Trump?
Very active in certain ways because he's able to operate more clandestinely, and his focus in my book is more on the DA races that he bought. Tens and tens of millions of people in this country are living in a area where their DA is soft on crime and is doing everything they can to try to allow criminals
and
back
that was
on the
Bragg
street.
in Manhattan.
And those people, and those people were put in power by Soros money.
Soros donated millions to them, and their competition on the other side couldn't match.
That's right.
Final question for you. Media Matters has been in business, almost 30 years. They're character assassins. I've gone up against them many, many times. They're involved in a lot of this, distributing the garbage that comes out of these organizations that want to harm Trump and Republicans. But now it looks like Media Matters is going out of business. You hear that?
It's amazing news. This was one of Andrew's biggest foils when he was alive, and I wish he was here to celebrate with us. Sadly, there's a lot of, I think, facsimiles of it that will just replace the work that Media Matters has done. And I grew to find it to be a compliment whenever they would quote me for some reason. So I will miss that to some degree. But this was the original Soros-funded media operation to try to smear and character assassinate people, basically for having normative conservative views, the type of views that you and I would opine on a daily basis about, Bill.
Okay. Did you find any research, and again, I did read Alex's book, and if you're into this kind of want to know the specifics, it's very good. You'll get a lot of information out of it.
Thank you.
Did you find any corporate media that reported on any of this Trump stuff in a fair way, methodical way?
No, absolutely not. And one thing that I highlight right at the top is how Jeff Bezos admitted that his paper completely failed on this. And this is not a guy who's a knee-jerk pro-Trump person. I think he's mostly apolitical, if not left-leaning, though I think he's embraced Trump recently to some degree. But he flat out announced that we botched this thing. And this is something that is a point we cannot repeat enough. The corporate media is dead, and we can, frankly, urinate on their graves at this point because they're gone and they're not coming back in a meaningful way. Alternative media is here to stay.
All right, Alex. Thank you very much for helping us out. We appreciate it. Good luck with the book. Our healthcare system is a mess. You know that. You wait weeks for a doctor's appointment, get 5 minutes there, then face delays, insurance, red tape. It's slow, frustrating, and it's why All Family Pharmacy stands out in the madness. All Family Pharmacy believes in medical freedom, meaning you decide what works for your health, not some agency or insurance company. Ordering is simple. No waiting rooms, pharmacy lines. Just go online, place your order, and get medications delivered right to your door. They offer 200 medications, including ivermectin and antibiotics, plus emergency kits, customized orders, even bulk buys. More than 100,000 Americans already trust All Family Pharmacy. It's time you check them out. So please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use promo code BILL10 for 10% off. Take your health into your own hands. That's allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill, code BILL10. What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting some breathing room. It is possible when you call American Financing. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, you're not alone. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off debt. Please call American Financing today before the problem gets worse. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans, consolidate debt, all without upfront fees. Their customers save an average of $800 a month. It's fast, simple, and it could save your budget this summer. Please call now before it's too late. American Financing, 888-462-9557. 888-462-9557. AmericanFinancing.net/bill. Here's a final thought of the day. So yesterday in New York City, Massachusetts Senator and Socialist Elizabeth Warren came in to campaign for Ma'am Donnie, who's a communist. Okay, here's what she said. Go.
What Zoran is saying is, I want people to be able to afford to live in New York City. That's what keeps it a vibrant city. That's what makes people want to live
Nobody
here.
disagrees with that, Senator, but raising taxes in order to do it? Why is that the answer?
Oh, dear. Are you worried that billionaires are going to go hungry?
No, I'm worried that they're going to leave and spend their money elsewhere.
You know, they've threatened to do that over and over.
Okay. So I'm on NewsNation last night. Here's what I said to that.
How did tearing down the success of America become sort of so popular?
First of all, Senator Warren is a nitwit. I'm sorry. I don't usually do that, but my God, if Mandani gets elected in mayor of New York City, she doesn't think wealthy people and corporations are going to leave? You're a nitwit, madam. I mean, that's all I can say. There's no other word to describe you. All right. Since 2020, close to 600,000 New York City residents have left. They keep saying 600,000 gone, most of whom paid big taxes. You know, we like to back up our insults here, but I don't like that invective stuff. I used to do it when I was younger a lot more, but what else am I going to say? That word described her perfectly. Thank you for watching and listening on our radio stations across the country, the No Spin News. See you again tomorrow. Thank you for watching. To view full episodes of the No Spin News anytime, sign up to become a BillO'Reilly.com premium or concierge member today.